If you are taking creatine and not doing this one thing, you are wasting every single scoop. Creatine deficiency, magnesium deficiency, supplement mistakes. These are the words your doctor never puts together, but your body has been connecting them for months. By the end of this video, I will reveal the one symptom that mimics a serious neurological disease that almost nobody links to these two things. Do not leave early because the answer is not what you think. Why your creatine is completely not working and you are blaming the wrong thing. You bought the creatine. You are taking 5 grams daily like a responsible adult. You are drinking your water. 3 weeks later, your lifts have not moved and your muscles still look like they took a sabbatical. So you go online and leave a 1-star review. Meanwhile, the creatine did absolutely nothing wrong. Here is what nobody told you. Creatine cannot do its job without magnesium. This is not opinion. This is published biochemistry being ignored by almost every fitness channel on the internet. When creatine enters your muscle cell, it must be converted into phosphocreatine, the form your body actually uses for explosive energy. The enzyme that handles that conversion, creatine kinase, requires magnesium as a mandatory cofactor. No magnesium means the enzyme sits completely idle. Your creatine is just expensive powder going nowhere. A 2020 study published in the journal Nutrients found that 68% of American adults do not meet the recommended daily magnesium intake. 68%. And that study did not even account for athletes who burn through magnesium faster through sweat and muscle contractions. So statistically speaking, the odds are not in your favor right now. Have you ever had an eye twitch that refused to stop for days? Random calf cramps at 2 in the morning where you are lying in bed negotiating with your own leg like it is holding you hostage? Those are not random inconveniences. Those are formal complaints from your biology about magnesium status. And when you layer creatine supplementation on top of that deficiency, you create a bottleneck in your own body that no amount of extra scoops will fix. By the way, I added the best creatine I personally use in the description below. Check it out. I only recommend what I actually use myself. Before we go further, if you are a man above 50 and you want my free 30-day workout plan, comment the word active right now. And if you want my free dietary plan specifically designed to bulk up muscle for men above 50, comment the word ready. I built these because I genuinely care about your health. Now stay with me because what comes next will change how you think about sleep forever. How this combination is silently destroying your sleep and testosterone. Here is something the supplement industry will never advertise because it does not sell product. There is a direct chain reaction between creatine supplementation, magnesium depletion, and the quality of your sleep. Magnesium regulates your parasympathetic nervous system, the part responsible for calming your body down and initiating sleep. It binds to gamma-aminobutyric acid receptors, the exact same receptors that prescription anti-anxiety medications target. When magnesium is low, your nervous system gets stuck in a low-grade fight or flight state. You lie in bed at midnight wide awake thinking about something embarrassing you said in 2009, and you blame stress. It is not just stress. Your brain is chemically unable to shift into recovery mode. Now add creatine. Creatine increases adenosine triphosphate recycling demand in your cells. That is excellent for performance. But adenosine triphosphate metabolism consumes magnesium rapidly. If you were already borderline deficient, creatine pushes you fully over the edge without a single warning sign you would recognize. A 2022 study from the University of Leeds found that magnesium deficiency actually alters the expression of clock genes inside your cells. These are the genes that control your circadian rhythm. This is not just feeling restless. Your biological clock starts drifting. You wake up at 3 in the morning for no clear reason. You feel exhausted and wired simultaneously. And over weeks, that disrupted sleep drives up cortisol, which drives up belly fat storage, which directly suppresses testosterone production. For men above 50 watching this, that chain reaction matters enormously. Low magnesium feeding into creatine supplementation can indirectly suppress testosterone through sleep destruction and chronic cortisol elevation. That is a documented physiological cascade, not speculation. A sports medicine clinic in Australia documented a 47-year-old recreational athlete presenting with chronic insomnia, irritability, and declining gym performance after 6 months on creatine. Every standard test was normal. His serum magnesium was fine, but his red blood cell magnesium, which measures intracellular levels, was critically low. 8 weeks of magnesium glycinate supplementation improved his sleep quality by 40%, his performance recovered, and his mood stabilized. Same creatine, same training. One mineral changed everything. And that brings up a critical point worth burning into your memory. Standard blood magnesium tests measure serum magnesium, which represents only 1% of total body magnesium. The other 99% lives inside your cells and bones. You can have perfect serum levels and still be profoundly deficient where it actually matters. This is why millions of people get told their results are normal while their body keeps screaming otherwise. Stay right here because the next section contains the symptom that sends healthy people to emergency rooms, and the creatine connection behind it will genuinely surprise you. The heart symptom that lands people in emergency rooms, and the mineral nobody checks. Pay close attention here because this section could genuinely save you a terrifying night and a bill you will remember for years. Millions of people experience this every year. They feel their heart skip a beat, a sudden flutter in the chest, a pounding sensation that lasts a few seconds before settling back to normal. These are called premature ventricular contractions and premature atrial contractions. When they happen while you are lying quietly in bed, they are absolutely terrifying. Most people assume the worst. They call for help, get an electrocardiogram, get blood work, and the doctor says your heart looks structurally fine, probably just stress. Here is a referral. Goodbye, and here is your bill. No real answers. Here is what most emergency physicians will not connect. Magnesium is the primary mineral that stabilizes the electrical conduction system of your heart. Every heartbeat begins with an electrical impulse. Magnesium acts as the gatekeeper for the ion channels that regulate that impulse. When magnesium drops, those channels become unstable and produce ectopic beats, the skips and flutters that terrify people into emergency rooms. A comprehensive review published in the journal Open Heart in 2018 stated that subclinical magnesium deficiency is a principal driver of cardiovascular disease and a leading cause of benign cardiac arrhythmias in otherwise healthy individuals. Subclinical means invisible to standard testing. You look perfectly healthy on paper while your heart throws extra beats because one mineral is running low. There is a specific calcium to magnesium ratio inside cardiac muscle cells that most people have never heard about. Calcium causes contraction. Magnesium causes relaxation. When magnesium drops, calcium floods the cell unopposed. The muscle contracts harder and longer than it should. In skeletal muscle that produces a cramp. In cardiac muscle that produces an arrhythmia. Same mechanism. Vastly different experience. Now connect this to creatine. Increased adenosine triphosphate turnover from creatine supplementation pulls further on already depleted magnesium stores. Your skeletal muscles and cardiac muscle are now competing for a scarce resource, and your heart never gets a rest day. Creatine is not the villain here. The deficiency is. But creatine can turn a quiet problem into a loud one very quickly. I am still holding back the biggest symptom, the neurological one that most people completely misinterpret as something far more serious. That is next, and it is the real reason I made this video. The symptom that mimics a neurological disease, and the truth nobody is connecting. This is what the entire video has been building toward. Give me your full attention. There is a cluster of symptoms affecting millions of people. Numbness and tingling in the hands and feet. Muscle weakness that appears and disappears. Occasional coordination issues. Brain fog so thick you lose words mid-sentence. A persistent feeling that something neurologically is wrong. When these symptoms appear together, especially in men over 50, doctors investigate multiple sclerosis, peripheral neuropathy, and early neurodegenerative conditions immediately. Understandably so because the overlap is significant. But here is the truth that is not being communicated loudly enough. Every single one of those symptoms can be produced by severe magnesium deficiency alone. Every single one. Magnesium is essential for nerve signal conduction. It regulates neurotransmitter release at the synaptic cleft. It modulates the N-methyl D-aspartate receptor, one of the most critical receptors for neurological function and brain plasticity. When magnesium is depleted, nerves become hyperexcitable. They fire incorrectly. They send tingling, numbness, and weakness signals with no structural damage as the cause. Your nerves are not broken. They are misfiring because the mineral that keeps them regulated is gone. A 2023 paper in the journal Neurology Research identified what researchers are beginning to call magnesium depletion neuropathy. Not yet an official diagnosis, but the push for recognition is growing because clinicians are watching patients present with full peripheral neuropathy symptoms pass every neurological test cleanly and then recover completely with aggressive magnesium repletion. No medication, no procedure, just the mineral the body was starving for. Now here is where creatine locks into this picture perfectly. Your brain consumes roughly 20% of your entire body's energy production despite being only 2% of your body mass. Creatine supports brain adenosine triphosphate availability, which is why emerging research is exploring creatine for cognitive performance and even traumatic brain injury recovery. That is genuinely exciting science. But phosphorylating creatine in the brain requires magnesium just like it does in muscle. So you could be supplementing specifically to support cognitive function, while a magnesium deficiency is simultaneously preventing that supplementation from working and generating the very neurological symptoms you are trying to avoid. That is the paradox. That is what nobody is saying clearly enough. If you are a man above 50, taking creatine and experiencing brain fog, peripheral tingling, unexplained muscle weakness, or coordination changes, before catastrophizing, ask your doctor specifically for a red blood cell magnesium test, not the standard serum test. Intracellular. It is not perfect, but it is dramatically more accurate than what most doctors order by default. One final piece of information most people have never connected. Proton pump inhibitors for acid reflux, thiazide diuretics for blood pressure, and common antacids used long-term all actively deplete magnesium. These are among the most commonly prescribed and purchased medications for men over 50. You could be eating reasonably, supplementing with creatine diligently, training consistently, and a medication you take every single morning is quietly draining the one mineral that makes all of it actually function. The fix is not complicated. If you are taking creatine, add a quality magnesium supplement. Avoid magnesium oxide. It has poor absorption and will mostly just send you rushing to the bathroom. Choose magnesium glycinate for sleep and nervous system regulation, magnesium L-threonate for cognitive support because it crosses the blood-brain barrier effectively, or magnesium taurate for cardiovascular stability. 300 to 400 milligrams of elemental magnesium daily is the standard recommendation, adjusted for training intensity and individual needs. Creatine is one of the most researched and effective supplements that exists. I take it every single day, and the best one I use is linked in the description below. Go check it out. But creatine without adequate magnesium is an incomplete and ultimately frustrating strategy. Comment active below for my free 30-day workout plan. Comment ready for my free dietary plan to build muscle specifically designed for men above 50. I built these resources because I want to see you win, not just supplement blindly and wonder why nothing is changing. Share this video with someone who needs it. Subscribe if this brought you value. And I will see you in the next one.